Have you ever felt that the silence in your home is louder than any noise outside? Asterisk, as the years pass and children follow their own paths, the house that once echoed with voices, laughter, and footsteps slowly becomes a space where time feels frozen. The furniture stays in place, the objects remain untouched. But something invisible is missing. It's as if the air holds an unnamed kind of longing. The heart, still full of love to give, quietly begins to ask, who do I give it to? Now, it's a question many older adults ask themselves in silence every single day. Asterisk, that feeling isn't weakness, it's human. The loss of rhythm, the end of daily caregiving, the absence of constant companionship, all of that shakes the soul and affects the body. Science has proven that prolonged loneliness in older age impacts not only mood, but also the immune system, memory, and heart health. Being alone for too long, without enough meaningful connection, can slowly make the body ill without warning. Asterisk, but what if I told you there's a simple, gentle way to bring purpose, sound, and affection back into your days? It's not a magic solution or a quick fix. It's a small gesture, almost silent, like the flutter of a bird's wings. Yes, a bird. That delicate, colorful creature that sings at sunrise and fills a space with life without ever needing to speak. It can be more than just a living ornament. It can be a companion. Asterisk, what many don't realize is that caring for a bird can transform your life. It's not just about feeding, cleaning, or listening to its song. It's about forming a connection with life itself. Opening the window each morning and knowing someone is waiting for you. Hearing a sound that doesn't come from the TV or the street but from your own home. Remembering, day after day, that beauty still exists in the simple things. Asterisk, sometimes the first step to overcoming sadness is very small, and it may fit inside a cage but carry wings that teach your heart how to fly again. From the inside out. Asterisk, have you ever wondered what silence does to your heart when it stretches on for too long? Asterisk, loneliness after 60 is not just a feeling, it's a condition that affects the entire body. As routines fade and familiar voices grow distant, something inside begins to shift. For many older adults, the days become quieter, slower, and sometimes emptier. What once gave structure, family visits, work schedules, daily conversations fades away, leaving long stretches of time filled with absence. This isn't just emotional, it becomes physical. The body starts to respond, often silently at first. Asterisk, researchers from institutions like the National Institute on Aging have shown that chronic loneliness increases levels of cortisol, the stress hormone that can weaken the immune system over time. Sleep becomes lighter and less restorative. Memory begins to dull. Even the heart starts to suffer, with higher risks of cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and depression. It's like the body, no longer surrounded by regular warmth, and connection forgets how to thrive. Asterisk, but amid this quiet crisis, science has found something quietly hopeful, a solution not in pills or procedures, but in presence, in something living, in something small. Birds, often overlooked as simple pets, have a remarkable effect on human emotion and well-being. Their songs, their colors, their daily patterns, they offer the kind of sensory companionship that reignites the human spirit. Asterisk, studies show that listening to birdsong can reduce anxiety and trigger the brain's reward centers, increasing feelings of safety and calm. The gentle, predictable routine of caring for a bird, changing water, offering seeds, speaking to it softly gives back a sense of rhythm and purpose. Every small act becomes meaningful, and that meaning becomes medicine. Asterisk, imagine starting your morning not in silence, but with a chirp, a gentle voice that welcomes the day with you, a presence that, even without words, says, "You're not alone." That's what a bird can offer. A heartbeat outside your own, a reason to open the curtains, a reminder that the world still moves and that you still belong in it. Asterisk, this isn't just poetic, it's deeply real. The body heals in the presence of connection, the heart remembers how to hope, and sometimes that healing begins with a creature so small it perches on your finger, but so powerful it restores the light in your soul. Asterisk, can a simple sound, gentle and feathered, Reach into your chest and remind your heart to feel again. Asterisk every morning. Long before most alarms go off, birds begin to sing. Not out of habit, but out of instinct, a song not taught, but born within them. Their melody is ancient, soft, and without words, yet somehow it speaks to something deep inside us. For many older adults living alone, the house is filled with silence by default. No footsteps, no one calling your name, no voices drifting down the hallway. But the song of a bird can change everything. Not with noise, but with life. Asterisk researchers have studied the emotional effects of birdsong with surprising results. In one study published in Asterisk Scientific Reports Asterisk, people who listened to birdsong experienced a noticeable drop in stress and anxiety. The sound seemed to transport them mentally and emotionally out of their enclosed space into something larger. And it's not just about pleasant sound, it's about memory, presence, and emotional connection. Asterisk for someone in their 60s or 70s who wakes up alone and walks into a quiet kitchen, that small trill can become a greeting, a kind of morning embrace. The bird doesn't ask anything of you, it simply sings, reminding you that something alive is nearby, that beauty still exists, and you're part of it. The sound fills the corners of the house where silence once settled, and with that, the air itself feels warmer. Asterisk, but the benefit is not just emotional, it's physical, too. Exposure to calming, natural sounds has been linked to lower blood pressure and improved sleep. The nervous system reacts to birdsong by slowing down. Muscles release tension. Breathing deepens without effort. For those living with anxiety, grief, or chronic sadness, this simple sound becomes a form of care. Asterisk, and then something beautiful begins to happen. You start listening more closely. Your senses wake up. You hear variations in tone, rhythm, volume. You begin to recognize when your bird is content, curious, or playful. This act of deep listening connects you not just to the bird, but to yourself. You begin to feel again, moment by moment. Asterisk, there's something sacred in the silence being replaced by music, not loud music, but something far more intimate, a song sung just for you, each day, by a creature that needs no words to say, you matter. Asterisk com Corinho, acquiescer o asterisk capitulo for asterisk com exactamente asterisk for 150 palavras asterisk. Explorando como os simples auto de cuidar de passarinho pode restaurar a rotina. Devolva proposito irisenda a vontade de viver. Asterisk, have you ever noticed how even the tiniest responsibility can bring back meaning to a day that once felt empty? Asterisk, after retirement, or after children have moved far away, daily life often shifts into something slower, less defined. The morning doesn't start with urgency anymore. Meals might be skipped or eaten without thought. Hours blur into one another. Without something or someone to care for, time can feel hollow. But what if just one small life, one gentle routine, could bring back purpose in a way that feels soft but powerful? Asterisk. Caring for a bird invites rhythm back into your day. Not in a rushed, overwhelming way, but in a calm, reassuring one. There's the morning, uncovering the cage, greeting the bird, offering fresh water and food. There's the afternoon light, streaming through the window as you sit quietly and listen. There's the evening routine, a soft word, a cover placed gently, signaling rest. These moments might seem small to others, but they're not small to you, and they're not small to your bird. They are acts of love. Asterisk, neurologists explain that routine is essential for cognitive health, especially as we age. The brain thrives on repetition, on patterns, on expected rituals. They give structure, which in turn builds a sense of safety and self-worth. Every time you prepare your bird's food, observe its feathers or speak kindly to it, you're not just caring for another being, you're also caring for your own mind and heart. Asterisk, beyond the science, there's something deeply emotional in having something to wake up for, something that notices your presence, a life that changes when you enter the room, a little head that tilts when you speak. In those tiny gestures, you begin to feel needed again, not in the heavy way of the past, but in a light, life-giving way. Asterisk, and over time, something shifts inside. The house doesn't feel quite as still. The mornings come with a little more energy. You might even find yourself humming, smiling, or sitting a bit longer just to watch a creature so small bring so much peace. These are not just routines, they are new beginnings, disguised as simple acts. Asterisk, it's amazing, isn't it? How one small life can create so much movement inside your own. How tending to another gently awakens the parts of you that once felt forgotten. Asterisk, can the gaze of a tiny creature remind you that you still matter? Asterisk, there's something profound in the moment a bird begins to recognize you. At first, it might seem like coincidence, the way it chirps when you enter the room, the way it leans closer when it hears your voice. But as days turn into weeks, a quiet truth emerges. This little being sees you. It notices your routines, your energy, your rhythm. It begins to respond not out of training, but out of trust. Asterisk, for many older adults, the hardest part of aging isn't physical decline, it's invisibility. The feeling that, somewhere along the way, the world stopped noticing you. People walk faster, conversations are shorter, invitations grow fewer, but a bird doesn't look away. It looks at you with full presence every day. And in that gaze, in that curious tilt of the head, is a message that speaks louder than words. I see you. Asterisk, this is not imagination, it's emotional truth. Studies on human-animal interaction show that even minimal daily bonds with animals stimulate the release of oxytocin, the hormone linked to affection and connection. Oxytocin reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and increases a sense of safety. But more than the chemistry, it's the feeling of being recognized that heals the heart. Asterisk, over time, your bird begins to anticipate your patterns. It listens for your steps in the morning. It quiets when your voice softens. It becomes, in its own way, attuned to your presence, and you, too, begin to attune to it. You notice when it fluffs its feathers in contentment, when it hops with energy, when it chirps just slightly differently than usual. This dance of attention, this shared awareness, is the foundation of emotional connection. Asterisk, you may find yourself speaking to it not out of loneliness, but out of comfort. A quiet comment here, a good morning there, maybe even a whispered story from your day. The bird doesn't interrupt, it listens. And that listening, even from a tiny creature, brings something back into your life that you might not have even realized was missing. The joy of being known. Asterisk, this bond is simple, but sacred. It doesn't replace human relationships, but it softens the spaces where human presence used to live. And in those softened spaces, something new can grow, a gentler, more peaceful version of connection. Asterisk, have you ever felt like the weight in your chest could be lifted by something as light as a feather? Asterisk, depression in older adults often arrives silently. It doesn't always come with tears or dramatic sadness. Sometimes it shows up in softer, quieter ways: the loss of appetite, the reluctance to open the curtains, the disinterest in once loved music or routines. The world seems dulled, like someone turned the color down on life itself. And when that feeling lingers for weeks or months, it begins to feel normal, even expected. Asterisk. But it doesn't have to be. Asterisk, mental health experts recognize that depression in seniors is often underdiagnosed and undertreated. Yet there's growing evidence that certain non-pharmacological supports can make a meaningful difference. One of them is companionship, especially the kind that brings daily interaction, structure, and emotional feedback. That's where the gentle, steady presence of a bird can become more than comfort, it can become medicine. Asterisk, in a study published by the International Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry, elderly individuals who engaged daily with pets, including birds, showed significant reductions in depressive symptoms. Their mood improved, their interest in the day returned, and their social interactions increased. What made the difference wasn't just having a living being nearby, it was the emotional connection, the feeling of being part of something again. Asterisk, when you care for a bird, you re-enter the world. You open the window so it can feel the breeze. You choose fresh food. You notice how it chirps more after a quiet moment with you. You start paying attention not just to the bird, but to yourself. Your own feelings begin to surface again, not as burdens, but as signs that you're still alive, still human, still capable of joy. Asterisk, there's something about the way a bird greets each morning with song, no matter how grey the sky looks, that teaches resilience. It doesn't question the worth of its voice, it just sings. And over time, being near that unwavering hope reminds you that your voice, your presence, your stories still matter. Asterisk, you may not realize it at first, but one day you'll notice a shift. Your hands move with more intention, your eyes follow its flutter with curiosity. Your chest feels just a little lighter. That's not coincidence. That's healing. Asterisk, have you ever touched something so simple it reminded you what it feels like to truly be present? Asterisk, life after 60 often slows down, and in that slowness, some senses begin to fade not because they're broken, but because they're unused. We stop noticing textures, sounds, scents. The brain, which once moved quickly through conversations and plans, starts to wander. But when you care for something small, every day a bird, with its delicate feathers and quiet habits, you begin to use your senses again, one by one, with purpose. Asterisk, there's something beautiful about running your fingers across the bars of the cage as you clean it. You feel the texture, you notice the dust, the way the sunlight filters in. You take the water bowl, rinse it. Feel the coolness in your hands. You scoop a few seeds. Smell the faint, earthy aroma. These tasks are not chores, they are rituals of mindfulness. Each one calls your attention back to the present moment, reminding your brain that life is still happening here, now, through your hands. Asterisk, neuroscientists explain that sensory routines help stimulate the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for memory and emotion. When you engage multiple senses while caring for a pet, especially on a daily basis, you create new neurological pathways. These don't just support memory, they also improve emotional regulation, mood, and even sleep. Asterisk, more than just awareness, this daily care invites gratitude. You begin to notice the way your bird stretches after resting, the flutter of its wings, the rhythm of its breathing. You observe how it responds to soft music or the sound of your voice. These small observations become moments of connection, not just to the bird, but to life itself. Asterisk, gratitude isn't always found in big events. Sometimes it comes quietly, through the act of preparing a clean space for another living being, through the choice to be gentle, to move slowly, to stay aware. Each day you care for your bird, you're also caring for your mind, nurturing a kind of internal stability that many older adults don't realize they've been missing. Asterisk, and in this simple rhythm, clean, feed, observe, rest, you begin to feel more grounded. The fog lifts, thoughts become clearer, feelings find their place. You are no longer just passing the time, you are living it. Asterisk, have you ever felt the presence of someone who doesn't speak, yet understands you completely? Asterisk, companionship after 60 isn't always about conversation. Sometimes it's about knowing someone is near, someone who senses when you're tired, someone who moves when you move, rests when you rest, and listens, even when words won't come. For many older adults, a bird becomes more than a pet, it becomes a companion in the truest, most tender sense of the word. Asterisk, this isn't about replacing human relationships. It's about rediscovering connection in a form that asks nothing but presence. A bird doesn't require long explanations. It doesn't interrupt. It doesn't judge or compare or expect. It simply shares your space, your rhythm, your day. And in doing so, it transforms that space into something warmer, more alive. Asterisk, over time, the bond becomes real. You start to recognize its moods, when it's active, when it's calm, when it wants your attention, and it begins to recognize yours. You may find it chirping when you come home from a walk, or leaning closer when you speak softly. It senses when you're near, and in those moments, something profound happens. You feel seen, not for your past or your age, but for your presence here. And now, asterisk, this kind of companionship is deeply healing, especially for those who have lost a partner, live far from family, or simply miss the daily interactions they once had. The bird becomes a kind of witness to your life. It's there when you sip your morning tea, when you read quietly in the afternoon, when you dim the lights at night. It becomes part of your rituals not as background noise, but as emotional company. Asterisk, and in return, you give it consistency, safety, affection. You become its world, just as it becomes part of yours. The relationship is mutual, even without language. It's built on care, presence, repetition, and quiet understanding. Asterisk, psychologists call this type of bond non-verbal attachment, a deep emotional link formed through shared time and gentle interaction. For the aging heart, this can be a powerful anchor. It reminds you that you're still capable of love, still able to receive it, still worthy of attention. Asterisk, in a world that sometimes moves too fast to notice the elderly, a bird slows everything down and looks right at you. Asterisk did. You know that simply being near a gentle creature can make your heartbeat steadier, your breath slower, and your nights more restful. Asterisk, what we often call peace of mind has a very real effect on the body, especially after 60, when stress, loneliness, and irregular routines can quietly harm our health. High blood pressure, irregular sleep, inflammation, and fatigue are common in older adults, and many of these symptoms are made worse by emotional isolation. But research is showing something remarkable, that daily interaction with a pet, even a small one like a bird, can help soothe the body in ways medicine sometimes cannot. Asterisk, in a study conducted by the University of Michigan, seniors who cared for small pets experienced significant reductions in heart rate and blood pressure over time. The simple act of nurturing another life, combined with the calming sound of birdsong, activated the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body responsible for rest, digestion, and healing. This relaxation response allows the body to repair itself more efficiently. Asterisk, and there's more. Spending time with a bird stimulates oxytocin and serotonin, natural chemicals in the brain that promote feelings of trust, well-being, and emotional safety. These same chemicals lower cortisol levels, which helps reduce chronic inflammation, improve immune function, and support deeper, more restorative sleep. In other words, caring for a bird doesn't just feel good, it protects your health. Asterisk, sleep, in particular, often becomes more fragile with age. Many older adults find it difficult to fall asleep or stay asleep, but having a stable, soothing presence during the day, something that encourages relaxation, anchors the routine, and signals safety, can improve sleep quality at night. A bird's soft chirping, its predictable behavior, even the nighttime ritual of gently covering its cage, becomes part of your body's preparation for rest. Asterisk, these changes are small but powerful. A steadier pulse, a calmer breath, fewer restless nights, more energy in the morning. These aren't just statistics, they're signs that the body is responding to love, to rhythm, to connection. Asterisk, the beauty of it all is how naturally it happens. You're not forcing anything. You're not being told what to do. You're simply sharing your days with a small, living soul, and your body, in its quiet wisdom, begins to heal in response. Asterisk, have you ever thought that healing could arrive not with noise, but with a soft wing beat and an open heart? Asterisk. By now, you've felt it, not in grand moments, but in the gentle unfolding of your days. The house, once still and echoing, now holds a quiet song. The morning, once heavy with routine or dread, now begins with the expectation of movement, of care, of being greeted. You are not alone, not in the way you used to be. Something has changed, something small yet vast. Asterisk, this bird, with its fragile bones and fierce little heart, has brought more than music into your home. It has brought presence. It has drawn you back into the rhythm of life, not the fast, demanding pace of youth, but a slower, truer beat, a beat that matches your breath, your steps, your gaze out the window. It has reminded you that your days still matter, that your hands still have purpose, and that your heart still has room to love. Asterisk, what once felt like emptiness now feels like space, room to feel again, room to listen, to care, to soften. Scientists can explain the effects: lower blood pressure, reduced anxiety, improved memory, but numbers can't capture the full truth. The real gift this little creature gives you is invisible. It's in the way your spirit stirs. When you hear its song, in the way your shoulders drop just from sitting beside it, in the way you feel, not forgotten, but accompanied. This isn't about escaping loneliness, it's about transforming it, about welcoming something alive and gentle into the quiet parts of your day, and allowing it to change you, to remind you that no matter how much time has passed, no matter what or whom you've lost, you are still here, still worthy of connection, still able to begin again. So let the bird stay. Let it live near your windowsill, in your quiet hours, in the stories you whisper only to it. Let it be the one who reminds you, every single day, that life is still singing through you, around you and because of you. And if your heart feels ready, if your hands feel empty in a way that longs to give, maybe it's time to open a new chapter, one with feathers and softness and purpose, one that teaches you, gently, that it's never too late to feel joy again. Let yourself be loved, even by something that fits in the palm of your hand, even now,